Hi, folks. Welcome. Turn over to Julie in just a second, but we are recording. There were a couple folks, Julie, that just responded to my initial email that said they couldn't be here, but I'll send them a recording. I'll let you know who all that was and if anyone else emailed today. But
yeah, I know. Well, Ann Ottinger said she was coming. Sue Braun can't, Molly can't. Watson Shrams can't. Ann Sigford obviously probably doesn't with a 7-hour time difference. So, let's see. Shar, I thought was, but anyway, who knows?
yeah, and I'll keep watching. I'll check my email too.
Oh, and Lean said she wasn't. So I guess last time we had a fantastic turnout. This time, well, so it goes, right? So yeah, Heidi Schreier too. So McLaughlin's, I mean, I know the McLaughlin said they, we're on overload right now, and so we're having to step back till April, but I thought they might say something, but okay, well, let's give them a couple more minutes. Oh, thank you all for showing up, my reliable core group. Welcome back, Paul. So, I hope you all saw the email that I sent this morning to just informing you of the some shifts in things at Catholic Charities. The family, Jassies have been here for 3 months in Rochester. So Catholic Charities really does kind of step away, feels that they are ready, or need to be independent. But they will still, he still will be receiving the match grant, and so the transportation to work will still be going on, and and they are until end of June paying the rent and utilities, so that'll be a big shift when that comes about. I've asked about where we stand with the Head Start application and possible family literacy involvement for Safia and Amin, but I have to ask again, I guess, as Carrie said that she would give me an answer on Wednesday before she departed, but she didn't. So anyhow, anybody who has connections. I know Sandy said she gets back in April. If we haven't made progress, that she will go to bat with Head Start. But
Julie, do we know when you have to register for kindergarten?
He is registered.
He is registered. Okay.
So he's registered at the same time the older children were registered. I did check it. One thing is that they are, they're required to offer. Used to be required to have it, but anyway, I guess the preschool screening, which is looking at development, looking height and weight, vision, hearing. I think again something we could work on with is how a vision test is done, matching letters, and like in trying sort of the idea of making some various frequency beeps and responding by throwing a block in a bucket. I don't know how, I know when I did it how I did it, but again, I know that at least the hearing wasn't accomplished at public health. I'm not sure about vision. Again, public health doesn't want to talk to us, they only want to talk to Catholic Charities. So things have changed. It's hard to change is good, but sometimes. Anyway, so that was another thing I was thinking about, if anybody else wants to check into it, if they, obviously they would need a Dari interpreter to be able to speak to Safia at all. Maybe they have appointments on Fridays. Anyway, I haven't done that. And I also fallen behind. I do need to get booster appointments for Kim and Safia for their COVID shots. They didn't think they needed them, but I told them, well, I have, and I think you should. I guess, should just do it at Mayo. Hy-Vee doesn't seem to have much except the J&J right now in their pharmacies. But anyway, so things that if anybody else wants to work on, those are things where I have not fully carried the ball, but I guess nobody else is going to join us. Anyway, why don't you, I just start out with how everybody is feeling about, your interactions and going forward, and, just your chance to give me input. So. Don't all speak up at once, you can, I can unmute you at the, okay, Wheelers. Right?
Yeah, I think things are going well, and I appreciate the fact that you're doing a good job. And I would say that change sucks. So, just so you know.
Ditto. we were gone for 2.5 weeks, and so we had just started with the online school, with the kids, and so it was interesting working the last couple of weeks then to kind of see what the difference is between when we left and then started back up. So I mean, there's progress. I think some of us, this Sophia's online class at Hawthorne just seems completely almost worthless for her. That's just my opinion. It's just not appropriate for a non-English speaker, I don't think. Some of the activities that
Just
they're
way
doing.
over her head.
Just,
Yeah, No, I agree. I'd like to, I've worked with a couple of the teachers at Hawthorne. I've thought of trying to just check back with them and just, I don't know anything about, really teaching English. As I said, I have helped in, 3 different classes. But, I'm just, this teacher, I'm not impressed with her, to be honest. And I just don't understand why she's so opposed to Safia having help, because there's no way. And I know that again, there's a range of abilities in that classroom, but yeah, I just, think too, conversational English and, and just, some more useful work would be better. But anyway, yeah. And I just find her not real patient. I don't think Safia gets, much positive feedback. When I've been with her, it's been rather, kind of feel like, just, no, you're not doing it the right way. And okay, goodbye, but.
So our impression generally is that it's going good, Julie. The dad, Kriyamundan, seems to be getting more and more comfortable interacting. His language skills are improving, and his use of the translation app helps quite a bit. Last time we were there, we asked the 2 older kids, it was a day that they were around, how they were liking school and were they making friends, and they both said they liked it, and they have friends at school that they play with. So I think that's a real good step forward for them. That same day, we played some games with Amin and Safia, just some tossing balls into buckets and figuring out different ways to bounce it in. And it was one of the first times I saw her sort of relax a bit and laugh a bit. And I don't know, pardon, her being Safia, and I don't know how she's gonna, I think that's gonna be a long haul to get her comfortable with moving about in this society. But all the others seem to be making progress. It's nice to see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Safia does have some other Afghans that I've seen her, you know, I
Good.
mean, so she does have some socialization. She's had tea
Good.
and you know, people over, and the kids also are playing with other Afghan kids. The other day when I came over, Anasha was coming in from playing outdoors and they were enjoying the rain with another little girl. And yeah, and then they were all up in the apartment having a grand time, running around and jumping. And little Amin was running around half naked, but you know, like, again, it was good to see him back to his lively self after Tuesday's operation also. Paula, anything?
Yeah, I think just chiming in that the class that Sophia is in, and I haven't actually been online. I've tried to be online and practice being online, but just feels like a terrible mismatch. Like it's just just not at the right level, not basic enough. And I too know very little about how you teach ESL, but just even trying to put myself in her shoes, if I was learning, you know, her language, I couldn't even imagine, you know, the relevance of some of the stuff that she's doing just in terms of survival. So I just really echo everyone else's frustration that we should probably be sticking to counting, you know, making sure she knows that the numbers outside her door are 302 and where she lives and what her birth date is and what her children's birth dates are, and learning the alphabet and just some of the really basic things that all of us would teach a young child. I mean, really, with some of the stuff we're doing with Amin is just as applicable to his mother, even if it looks kind of babyish. I know when Julie and I were there on Tuesday, just identifying the food, and I know other people have been doing that, but it's like 1,000 repetitions. I mean, when Julie and I said cucumber, and she said cucumber back to me in Dari, can I repeat today what you said to me? Of course not. And I would have to hear that maybe 100 times before I could tell you in Dari, how do you say cucumber? So I think, you know, just thinking about us learning a language, it seems just unsurmountable at her age to be doing it in this kind of not very systematic way. Anyway, that's my spiel.
What would happen if she, I mean, is she supposed to be in that? Is she supposed to go right to Hawthorne right now and take some class that they have according to Catholic Charities? Or
Yeah.
can we just,
No, well, I mean, I guess, I mean, they're done with her, so I suppose we could, I mean, if they think she's independent, she could drop out. I mean, but, yeah.
I just think she doesn't know. If you say, okay, start with A, she doesn't know that. She only knows copying, as all of you know who've worked with her. She only knows copying. The same thing with numbers. She doesn't know. She knows S. I know she knows S, but she doesn't know 1.
Well, she's
I
getting
say
better.
1. So that seems like that would be what we would be working on, not, you know, is it right that there are 2 peaches in the box or 1 peach and you add ES at the end? My gosh, that's way down the line, it seems to me.
Well,
So what we could do is tune in and then turn off the sound, which is what I do anyway, and then just do whatever we want as long as she's on camera. and then, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, I think that I, you know, do some of that too. And, you know, Susan Braun and I were definitely working on, you know, numbers, and she was getting better. She couldn't count, you know, again, but recognizing, you know, but she was better. She could recognize the 9 and the 8, and was doing more of the sign in the other day. But yeah, like Paula said too, Susan and I were making an effort to learn the word, and again, I couldn't tell you now, but door and window and things in Dari. But yeah, you know, their exercise was they were identifying roof and window box, you know, or flower box, you know, backyard, front yard, and they were supposed to envision, you know, spend a lot of time dreaming their dream house. Well, I don't know if she has a dream house, but anyway, and then they were supposed to be, then ready to tell the teacher, they were supposed to be writing a sentence like what color their house was, how big was their house, how many doors did it have, how many windows. Well, Susan and I just concentrated on one sentence. We counted how many doors and windows there were in the apartment. And so that was our sentence, and we just kept practicing it. And so, well, then of course the teacher wasn't satisfied. What color is it? What, only 8 doors? Only windows? I mean, yeah, and then you don't, well, where's your deck? And I mean, do they have decks? I mean, no. I mean, again, and you don't have a swing set in your, I mean, it was just so bizarre. But as I said, there was, no recognition of saying, yes, you did have a sentence, no, it was just how we were failing. So anyway.
So there were times, like Sue said, you could kind of work on other stuff, like I had something that, it was in currency and they were supposed to add currency. And it was just like, what? I mean, if you don't know your numbers, you can't really do that. So we just went through the numbers and we were repeating them. And that's while, the teacher was calling on other people. The problem with just being on camera is every once in a while, the teacher will call on her, but I guess I agree. I'm just not sure how much she's getting out of it. And, we get tired, she gets tired because so much is just, not appropriate. If she doesn't have to be in that class and that's the only one that's available to her, and there are some people in the class that do speak English, like I've heard teacher, help me, that kind of thing. And, she can't even do that. Yeah. So there are different levels.
This is the lowest level at Hawthorne, though.
Well, I mean, I really think she'd get a whole lot more out of our time there if we were just forgot about the online class and we did the tutoring. But anyway, I don't know if we can make that decision. So.
Well, maybe Paul and I can investigate that. I know Paul is very connected with Hawthorne. But yeah, and I can pursue with Catholic Charities. I agree with you all. I don't think much of the curriculum. This seems to be the first time this teacher is using this in the worksheet. She doesn't have the time to have an idea. Oh, well, that's not really, I mean, yeah.
I feel, I don't know that any of us feel like we know how to teach ESL. So if we're going to try to advocate for not doing this, I really think we need to have something. And I do not believe I have those capabilities. I mean, I think all of us have some basic knowledge of how language gets picked up. We watch grandchildren pick up language or little kids pick up language, but I'm uncomfortable marching too far down the road of pulling the plug completely unless we have some idea about what we're substituting. That's a pretty concerted effort, that we are following some kind of curriculum, that there's some sequencing to what we're doing. I just would be very uncomfortable. I mean, I think we all are frustrated and we all recognize Sophia's frustration, and it's as I said, it's a terrible mismatch, but I think we need to have something pretty carefully in place. And I don't know if I don't have a teaching background, so I just kind of feel like I'm a little hesitant to go too far down this path. But I certainly think, Julie, it's worth checking with Catholic Charities about what the expectations are.
Oh, well, obviously you see that Kiam is getting nothing now that he's gone to work. My experience with other families too is that they have not, pursued, Hawthorne classes. I mean, it's not,
it's not mandatory.
Not mandatory, yeah, but I will check. Yeah, I will check and stuff.
I mean, I think the issue is the point is going to come where she's going to need a job at some point. I mean, they're just not going to have enough income, and she doesn't have the language to clean a house or, do some level kind of position.
Yeah. Right. I mean, I know with my, the other Anuak family, I mean, she had know English either. And she did. She cleaned at Apache Mall, but there was
Okay.
somebody else. You follow. I mean, and
And that may be what it is.
and my experience through public health is too, is I try to communicate with them. I think, how are they going to work? But anyway, of course, an employer obviously would appreciate somebody they can talk to.
Right.
And like in this case, again, if she was paired with another, person who had more English, but also had Dari, she.
Right.
So, yeah. And I don't know. I mean, again, too, she's never worked. So, whether she's going to accept that, too.
And she's not gone to school. So we have,
I do know she wants another child, and I really hope that doesn't happen, but. Yeah.
Not anytime soon.
Yeah.
The thing is that this community's been through this before with the Southeast Asian immigrants, and many of the women in that population were kind of left behind. Seems to me that IMAA might have some insights on what worked and what didn't work.
Well, IMAA is supposed to be, providing a community health worker. I mean, that is one, I haven't seen that yet. That was, something, it used to be public health was the person who did that, but they are not.
Well, anyway, back
Yes.
on just focusing on the English as a second language thing. What happened with some of the immigrant populations is the men had jobs and they learned English on the job, and the children went to school, and the women stayed home and were increasingly isolated linguistically. So I would think IMAA might have some advice to give on that, but I can check with them. I'll do that on Monday.
Okay.
The other thing is we have put Duo ABC on Sue's iPad, and that's what Amin fell asleep to, because let me just say, the story about Lemonade it lacked plot and character development. And, he was bored. I managed to stay awake.
All it needs to have is action.
Yeah. So at any rate, that might be something for us to try to install on the Chromebook.
Well, you tried.
I tried. I haven't done it yet. I'm sure it must be possible. And then Sophia could use it because it seems.
Yeah, she
very-
liked it, the time when Anne was there and did it with both of them. I have not been successful at getting the right version of it on mine. So,
Well, and we should remember that now that Kiam's working, I mean, he's not, he's only learning, I suppose, whatever he learns at work. So he has some English skills. So trying to find something, I think, where words are said and you have, the word in English and basic letters and numbers, but having something like Duolingo, I haven't looked at that a lot, but some sort of program that they can use, because Kiam then can also do it, on the weekend, and they can learn together. So.
well, I think Seam is doing the best, and he is leading. And Sophia relies on the kids, but yeah, so anyway, well, something to keep going. And I know that, we can only do what we can do. I think it would be good, at least, to try as long as we can to have some interaction working on English, at least Monday through, Thursday would be good. So all of you who have committed time, I, say thank you. Again, I was thinking too, sorry, Anne Lean isn't here, Lyndon, maybe you can, speak up with, like how the older kids reacted the other day to being helped, but we had kind of held off on, days off from school, not doing it because they weren't real enthusiastic. But I think during spring break too, that not only some fun things, but I will, contact their teachers and see if there are things that they want them to be doing. that week, too, that's just something that we could try to suggest or help, facilitate. But I haven't, I will email their teachers and see as we get closer. Another thing is, dental checkups, and we know we have children's dental health that is, and I need to check in at Riverside to see how it works to have kids have their teeth checked, brushed, and stuff there, because that would be the easiest. Though we do have the dental clinic out on the Beltline and, the vocational school too. Again, that's something that nobody seems to be setting up appointments, for. But I think certainly would be a good idea. There also will be in April more immunizations. And they can go to public health for that, but we have to make an appointment. So I was just waiting to combine a couple shots so that we don't have to go once a month for for that. But I'll follow up on that. Anyway, too, we kind of have the group that is working on the English and things, but for spring break, I would like to have, as I said, some fun things, activities planned. I'd be willing, I'll be here for a few of those days. So, a couple of us, taking them to Expo, or, Seam has gone to Quarry Hill with his classroom. But that's another thing, trip down to the library. But again, I do not see myself as, the one to definitely set those things up. I'd like to, have people in the group talk to one another and look at their schedules, look at the weather, and, and then, communicate with Kim about the possibility of that. I mean, obviously he will be working, but as we've all know, he is the best way to communicate. I did try to teach Sophia to recognize no school if she gets that text message from me. But anyway, your thoughts. I don't want to do all the talking here. So anybody? So we've seen that nobody has signed up for going to Channel 1. Paul, do you think that might be something that you'd on Friday morning, or no? You're on mute. You have to unmute yourself, Paul. Or
yes,
yes.
Friday I'm available. What time do they need to go? Who needs to go? Do we need to do car seats?
Well, yes, Jerry, you and Elizabeth, you can talk to it, but yeah, we were thinking, they went at 9 o'clock. I think that's a good time. It closes by noon, and the earlier you get there, the better the selection. But yes, it would be if Sophia and Amin go, and I think that he would be interested in their seeing it. There would be a car seat, but the adults it's very easy, and they are the ones that are been putting it in the car and putting him in the car. But Jerry,
So, no concerns about my taking Sophia and Amin together?
Kiam would go too, so.
Oh, Kiam will go, okay. So I could ruin the car. Kiam knows how to do the car seat.
Yep, so does
It's
Sophia.
a matter of transporting. Do they need any assistance or guidance in terms of food selection, or they know what to pick?
Jerry, you can speak to that, but no, and I think they have been registered. So Jerry, you just show them give them your name.
They were able, they're registered to shop there. They're able to take the quantities that they want. There are some things that Kim chose not to take at all. And then there were other things that he took a lot of. It's interesting that they like fresh fruits and vegetables rather than stuff in cans. They use rice, they use spaghetti. So, I mean, he was absolutely able to pick out the items that he thought would be useful.
But for some things, like some canned food, we did help him understand what was in the can.
Right.
So there was canned fish, and he decided they wanted that. So they can wander through and take what they want. He seemed pretty good at picking out what they needed. When we went to pick him up, Sophia and Amin were in the lobby. We asked them if they wanted to come, and they said no. But because he's only off on Friday and it's only open a half day, I think it would really be good if the next time he goes, they come with, and I hope they do, so that she would be comfortable going at some other weekday then,
Right.
without him. His response to going on Friday or I forget when it was,
Last Friday.
when he said he couldn't go, but that he, and I suggested the following Friday. I couldn't tell if he can go this Friday or whether he meant next Friday. So
It's on the calendar, and he, I said, we just need to find out the exact time and the person. So he was okay with it. I mean, something could come up, I know.
Okay.
And Channel 1 is very, very loose about it. I asked them if they had any requirements for registry. They just said they only need the name and the address. They don't ask anything else, because anyone who comes there for food, they're just going to assume needs food.
Right.
Yeah, but
And
he would qualify even the old days, so yeah. Go ahead, Paul.
Should I text Kim to say that I'll plan to pick him up at 9 o'clock on Friday and just show up? Anything else that I need to do?
No, I will text him first, but then you, confirm that you will be there at 9. And
Okay.
Do you text or use WhatsApp?
well, you can do either, but WhatsApp. I mean, Paul's done WhatsApp right before. He still has that phone. I don't know. Maybe he'll always have it. Maybe the government's provided for life. I don't know. So either way, no. But WhatsApp, at least you know that he's read it. But and I'll just say, as I said, I'll let him know and then tell him to be down the lobby and so
Are they okay leaving the older kids by themselves?
they'll this Friday they're not. Last Friday they were off school. Plus it was post surgery, and I mean was still kind of recovering definitely. So I think that was in large part why I don't know. Who knows? So no, it would just be either one or 3 of them.
And I would do everything you can to encourage Guillaume to ask his wife to go along.
Yeah. The other thing, Paul, is if you don't know, is that it's good. And, I don't know, Jory, did they bring bags along? I mean, but you do need things. I had before it said the reusable cloth bags should be brought. I know all of you supplied them with some,
They had 2 of their own, which he filled, and I brought 4 and he took 2. So he had, if they remember to bring them, they'll have those reusable bags to use.
And they do have plastic bags there.
Yeah,
if they don't have enough.
Right.
I can bring paper or plastic bags as well.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I think that's a good idea because, again, if you never know how much they're going to have. I mean, I know I've gone there when they've had very little, but as I said, they're not restricting quantities, so you can scoop up a whole bunch of onions or potatoes or Okay, that'd be great, Paul.
Okay, I'll plan on it.
And you can certainly, text or email me or call me for, any. So good. Okay. So I guess that's, I wrote, I'll be gone. I'm leaving on the 18th to go to Oregon and coming back on the 24th. So hopefully we'll have the calendar pretty well filled in. I think there's only one day now. And Linda Sue Wheeler has agreed to take, Sophia to her appointment. So that's great. when I need tips, Paula's the one that's been doing a lot of her appointments. But anyway, this is to see an endocrinologist in the Mayo Building. Yeah, and then I'm back for a little bit, as I said, of spring break, and then I'm out to Washington DC for my other grandchild's spring break. So, and if anybody, I mean, Linda will have this, but I did send out that email that, when everybody's gone. So here's, calendar shows all those lines represent different people's absences. You each have your own color. Well, except for Katzman's, the rest of you are hanging around for the immediate future. But yeah, so we'll do with what we do, and I'm reachable, but Linda is, she certainly was a fearless leader in the beginning, so.
I was gonna say, so if Julie hears about something, then she'll let me know, but like if you're setting up something with the family and you get it on the calendar, let me know that you've done that, I guess, right? And instead of Julie, do you want to know, Julie? Do you want to still get all those emails while you're gone or not?
Oh, no, I mean, it's better that Linda gets them. I mean, I don't mind, but I can't.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think this group all is, another question I had was, if everybody still had the link to the calendar and the log, but I know all of you have put things on and things, so you aren't the ones I'm worried about. I guess I'll, in the Cliff Notes I sent out, I'll just check. But again, if they don't respond, I don't know whether they've read the email either. So anyhow, so I was sorry that Ann Ottinger isn't here because she's been gone and wanted to check in with her and her availability, but I guess I'll see her on Thursday, hopefully. So any other things, or Katzmans have a good time in Arizona and New Mexico? We'll miss you. We thank you for what you've done, and we'll eagerly receive you back.
Yeah, we'll miss you on Tuesday.
That really, I just have to brag about the sub-team that Paula and Jerry and I have created on Tuesdays. It really works well, and it's fun. I mean, I'm so glad that we stepped into being able to work with the family as we have been able to do. So so thanks, Paula and Julie and Linda and all other team members.
So another thing I would ask is that, now that they don't have to wear a mask at school, and I mean, I did, Paula did provide the small N95s for KN95s for the children, and I mean, did wear that to his surgery, but it is hard to enforce, and I guess I personally feel comfortable. He's, had both of his doses. Anasha and Seem will have shortly. I think if I'm wearing a protective mask, I am able to relax more if they don't. So, but I don't know how the rest of you feel. And
I haven't decided whether or not I'm going to mask the rest of my life yet. So
yes, well, I am probably. At least till after I see my littlest granddaughter who, isn't vaccinated, and also I just assume not get the disease. But
sure. It's not good.
I think we do need to kind of decide whether we're expecting Sophia as a group to mask or not in our presence, because she'll be getting a mixed message if we're not. And so I guess that is a fair question, Julie, to be asking. I mean, I think the kids are, she's also vaccinated. She hasn't been boosted, but she is vaccinated.
Yeah, She is, right. So, I mean, again, it is hard because, particularly in online class, you see everybody else doesn't, wear masks. And again, we know that seeing the mouth and being able to, is helpful. So, but she has been wearing it. I mean, and she hasn't,
If she asks, she holds up a mask, and
Oh.
if you, she puts it on.
Mhm.
She always does when I come. So.
So I think I agree with what seems to be the emerging consensus that we ought to relax the mask requirement with Sophia, because seeing lips move and communicating with the class will be easier. I'm not sure if that's the emerging consensus or not, but
Well,
I would agree that certainly in terms of acquiring language, being able to see someone's mouth is important. I mean, I think being sensitive to you, Julie, I mean, you're leaving and there are fair reasons for not wanting to unmask, but I think in terms of language teaching, it probably would be more helpful if we weren't masked, and if we were kind of all agreeing about that. I think we really need to feel like we've made one decision here.
okay. We raise our hands and have a vote.
I think to me, it's hard to make just a blanket thing because, you could be around somebody anyway. You could get a call in the morning that you're going to go and find out, that somebody's not feeling well. I mean,
You could always put a
church
mask
wasn't
on.
feeling well, right? And so were we exposed at rehearsal? I don't know. What are they sick with? So, in that case, I might still put it on.
Well, and-
Because I don't want to inadvertently pass something on to them. So last week with Amin and his surgery, anyway, I don't know.
I would say that the default value my preference would be the default value is use a mask most of the time unless something is going on that justifies taking the mask off. You're eating, obviously you need to take it off. You're drinking, you need to take it off. If you're working on language skills, that's a defensible reason to take it off. So that's fine. But I'd say in general, it's safer to keep the masks on when there isn't some reason to take it off.
So, I mean, I think that, we can each make our own decisions. So what we do, it's what we're, how much we're going to demand of Sophia.
And that was my point, I mean, I think we all can decide whether we're comfortable or not. Yeah, that was my point, Julie. Thank you.
So, I mean, again, I feel like if I'm wearing a good mask and, I mean, again, yes, so I probably go out more than anybody else in that family. But I don't know. Anyway, so shall we say that Sophia doesn't have to, we won't insist on it? Or I don't want to lose you as a volunteer. I mean, like if you're not going to come because she doesn't wear a mask, I don't want to make that,
No, I think we have to have consensus here.
Well, can't we convince her that if the person comes in wants to be masked, that she should mask? And if you come in and you're not wearing your mask, or you don't want to wear a mask, or are you talking about just with her? Just with her.
Yeah. Yeah, her children have put away the masks a long time ago.
Well, I think that's okay. But, again, I think we just need to make sure we're communicating with one another, through the log to let us know how that's going.
okay.
I guess, so let her go without it, I guess. Amin has not been wearing his, so.
So I brought paints, but like he was asleep, so he couldn't decorate one.
Anyway.
Yeah. And, like, yeah, when I was there on Saturday, Kiam wore his and Sophia wore hers, but the kids were all running around and they weren't really interacting with me much. So, certainly on the elevator, at the building, hardly anybody wears a mask. So in that elevator, anyway, okay. So we'll try it. And much like everybody else, if we change, that'll be harder to say mask up again. No, so, but I just think, again, they're not going to be, it's already, well, and I'm disappointed that it's already such a controversial and tough thing, but so.
Well, there hasn't been much resistance from Sophia, but at all. I mean, if we wanted to stick with that, I think the kids have kind of given that up. And we haven't demanded that, certainly.
Well, again, if they're in my car, that's another thing.
That's a different thing. That's a very close circumstance. This is in their apartment.
So again, when I took them to get their vaccines, we were all masked, and and I think that that's reasonable. Paul, when you're transporting to Channel 1 too, to have them all, be wearing masks.
Yeah. And they did last Tuesday when we took them to the hospital. And of course, and when they were there, but they were masked. I mean, but Julie's masked in my car.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks. I mean, anybody else want anything? I really, really, really appreciate all of you and what you're doing. And thank you, Luke, for arranging this. And we'll have to, I was thinking maybe the 27th or something, that Sunday I'm back, that we could maybe just do an update to the congregation too, at that time.
Yeah, and we're going to have people coming and going in April also. So it might be
Right.
worthwhile to have a conversation about people's calendars.
Yeah. Well, I have all the, I didn't hear from, Sue and Phil, you're not allowed to go away. Sorry. Right, Phil, go ahead.
I do have a question, actually, because we were making an attempt to involve other congregations. Yeah, what's the status of that?
About this?
Yeah.
Oh.
For example, Mike Ressman.
Oh.
Well, they chose to withdraw, and I mean, all the, well, I'm not sure, Ann Ottinger doesn't have a congregation, but, and we were involving some people in our congregation who haven't been too involved.
Yeah, I'm just asking, are we still in, because we have these connections with the other congregations who are involved in SMILed and the Rochester Interfaith Immigrant Rights Coalition. We could ask again if there's anybody interested.
Well, again, they, wouldn't be trained. They'd have to go through, submitting the papers and things like that. And so I'm fine with the team that we've got, even though it's,
All right, I just wanted to know.
it's shrinking, but I feel, too, that just.
You don't have to explain, Julie. I'm just, I just was asking. Thanks.
Okay. And I don't even know, they are getting new families, but they're getting other refugees, Syrian refugees, and I've forgotten, not just Afghanis now. So
I was going to add, I heard from a friend of mine who works at Mayo, and maybe Paul knows this too, that the clinic is going to be hiring some Dari interpreters. She had gotten an email that they were moving ahead with having that more available. So there clearly are more families, more need.
Well, there was definitely a big need on Tuesday for more. I was thankful that for some blessed events that, the pharmacist was able to get an interpreter right away. So because we had spent so much time, I told a few of you, I mean, I even made an SOS call to Christina just to connect me with one of the other Afghan refugees who speaks English at one point, because it was just so difficult. I mean, I couldn't imagine being in Safia's position and, not being able to communicate. So the charades only go so far.
Julie, do we know how many Afghan families did come to Rochester?
It's 15 or 16.
Okay, because
Or-
originally it was going to be like 25, and then you'd said, oh, it's, it's not going to be that many, but yeah.
Yeah, so
I
it's-
wondered
they
if
aren't
you'd
they aren't
heard.
done. They aren't done. And then again, I don't know if you all saw that note, but I mean, I assumed they were coming from Fort McCoy, but they came from some base in New Mexico. So they spent their first 3 months there. So there was more of a shift in weather coming here in November from New Mexico than if they'd come from Wisconsin. So, yeah. So there's something in the chat. Is there something in the chat?
That might have been from me earlier when I stepped away. Yeah,
Okay. Oh, yeah.
that was
Sorry.
from a while ago.
Well, that's usually my thing. See the voicemail message 2 days later.
All good. Julie, this recording should be done. It shouldn't take
Okay.
too long. Do you want me to send it to you, or do you want me to send it out to the whole group? Do you have any preference there? I didn't know if you wanted to send it out with notes from the meeting or.
Sure. Why don't I send it to me, I guess.
Okay, I'll send it to you as soon as it's done.
Okay. So thanks.
Sure.
Okay, well, thank you all. And yeah, as far as another Zoom, I'm welcome to it, but like I was thinking more in April, but if you think. Anyway, we will have, some more appointments coming up and again, they're supposed to be able to get themselves there, but I personally, if I was in a foreign country, I would like to have a friend. I like to have somebody transport me now. But anyway, Phil, again, if you, are giving bus lessons, how to get to Mayo Northwest on the bus, or how to get to, well, the library is pretty easy. How to get to.
I haven't done any of that yet.
Well, yeah.
But going to the Northwest Clinic would be pretty easy because it's a straight shot.
Yes. So does it actually, does it go to the Northwest Clinic or just a Target? Or
it goes right to 41st Street, then stops at the Northwest Clinic and stops at Target.
Okay. Well, maybe I don't think Shar will be willing to do for the shots, but maybe for the April 21st appointments. We can do that.
Someday. Okay.
Well, thank you all again. I appreciate it. Have a good rest of your day.
Yep. See ya.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Julie, and everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you, Julie, for everything you've been doing.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.